And recording. Hi, Taylor.
Hey. Sorry, my cat's like bugging me. Hello.
So, do you pronounce your last name Reyes or Reyes?
I say Reyes.
Yeah, so do I. Okay, cool. Because
Okay.
that's how I feel like everybody said it.
I had to rethink it. I was like, wait, how do I say it again? I'm like, overthinking everything.
Just shows you how much like actual Hispanicness was in our lives growing up.
Right?
Even the way we pronounce our name is the whitest way possible.
Exactly.
So, and this is a question you don't have to think too hard on. Right now in America, what do you think the biggest problem is?
Ooh, that's interesting. Right now in America, I think the biggest problem is that, I mean, with the pandemic and everything, I think our government doesn't really give a fuck about us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about other, like, countries and the way that they've dealt with the pandemic and whatnot, it's like, they basically gave us the fucking bottom of the barrel and were like, here you go, let's just figure it out. And it's like,
The stimulus
no.
checks are like half of what they were going to be.
Yeah, like $600. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, let me just fucking. I'm unemployed right now, so let me just
Oh my
live my life
God.
off $600 and.
Is that a one-time thing?
Yeah,
Oh my
basically.
God.
Well, I get unemployment, but it's
Right.
like not enough to live off of.
Are they still doing like pandemic money on top of that, or not anymore?
Not right now, but I think that's in like part of the COVID relief package or whatnot. So we'll see what happens. But you never know with our government; it changes every fucking day. So.
Right. Dude, I was feeling a little under the weather today, and I was like, "Oh God, please no,
Oh no!
please no." I'm gonna sleep on it, and then if it's any worse tomorrow, then I'm gonna go get tested to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had any symptoms, thank God, or like any issues with it. But yeah.
Dude, today I was just exhausted. It could have been because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but fingers crossed that it's that and not COVID.
Every time I have a hangover, I'm like, oh,
This is the end.
do I have COVID or am I just hungover? I'm like 50-50.
Okay, so as far as connected families, you are my father's brother's daughter.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Do you remember growing up? Did you see a lot of my dad?
Not really. I think you and I mostly hung out a lot at Grandma and Papa's.
Right.
But that's because both of our parents work. So the reason we went over there is because that was like our babysitter. So we'd go over there and hang out while our parents went to work. So I mean, I saw him a little bit here and there, but I never like fully remember like hanging out with your dad.
Yeah, same thing with your dad. I don't think I saw him much, like, to be honest.
Yeah, my dad wasn't really there a lot, and especially my mom. But even then, like, both of our parents then were working, so mostly we hung out with, like, at Grandma and Papa's.
I love your mom.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, she's...
I love my dad too, but...
Well, of course. I love them both as well, but yeah, your mom has always been very present, and that's always been really nice.
Yeah, she's definitely been, like, the rock of my life. She's just been the one that's always been there, so I love my mom for that. I'm very grateful to have her. For sure.
Right. And she's in Spreckles still?
No, Salinas.
Salinas, okay.
Yeah, but basically Spreckles. But yeah, she's still there, still just living her life, empty nesting, trying to figure it all out since my sister and I have both moved out, so.
Right. And you're in Sacramento.
Yes, I am in Sacramento. And I live with my boyfriend, Brandon.
Lovely man. I like him.
Yes. He is a fun time for sure. How are you and Piper doing?
We are doing super good. Monterey.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't go downtown that much anymore, but just down the street, which is nice. Walking distance from the beach. Although, like I said, we don't go nearly as much as we could.
Yeah, with the pandemic and whatnot.
Right. Going fishing tomorrow, so that's nice. And I can walk down to the lake, which is cool.
Love that.
I had to pick up something, man. Yeah, I needed a hobby that I could stick with that could actually be pretty simple.
I know.
I took up whittling.
Whittling? What's whittling?
A piece of wood with a knife, and you just whittle something cool.
That's pretty cool.
I did a Christmas tree, and then my dog got to it, so it looked really nice. Piper made like a little coffin for it and put it on the tree.
Oh my gosh. That's so cute.
Yeah. It was really, I was so proud of it, and then when I came home and saw that kind of killed me.
Oh, it's just like a stab to the heart. That's like my cats. They'll literally destroy everything. We got a Christmas tree, and it's literally like almost falling apart because they'll climb up in it. They're dropping all the ornaments.
Did you get a big one?
And breaking everything. I'm like, you guys are literal crackheads. Like, you need to relax.
I love that video of like the guy lifts the lid to the cat food for like just a second, and the cat sticks its whole head and then takes the biggest mouthful it can.
Yes, they're psychos. Literal psychos.
Any chance to get out or any chance to break the rules, they're down.
They're just actual crackheads.
See, my dog loves cats way too much. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play with that thing like crazy, and the cats never want to.
That's how Winston is, my cat. He loves dogs, but Olive, my other cat, she's like, nope, wants nothing to do with them. She's like, gotta go.
Would you say you were, like, to begin with, more of a cat person, or do you think that you were a dog person, then you got a cat, and then you became more of a cat person?
Well, growing up, I didn't have any animals just because we were so busy. Like, I did ballet 5-6 days a week, and Jordan did gymnastics 5 days a week, and we wouldn't get home till like 10 p.m. like at night. So my mom wouldn't allow us to have animals just because we were never home. Like, we couldn't take care of it.
It's the right choice.
Until I think I was like 18-ish. I found my home cat, Milo. I don't know if you've ever met him.
I don't think so.
I found him in my friend's backyard, and I convinced my mom to let us have him. And luckily, then I wasn't really like as busy as I was. So she let me have him, and ever since then, I've been like a full-on cat lover. And I don't know, I just turned into a cat person.
It's hard not to love them, you know.
Exactly.
Any little creature that shows you, like, looks at you with those eyes, you know what I mean, and like actually like understands, like, we're friends, and I like being here with you. It's like, oh my god, my heart.
Exactly. I feel like you're never a cat person until you have a cat, and then you're like, okay, I'm a cat person. Because cats are kind of bitches until like they're your actual cats, and then you're like, okay, you're actually kind of cool. Okay, I like you.
They have to take their time in getting to know you, man.
Yes, definitely.
We had one cat that was not a bitch, but just like the most frayed cat ever, and then it warmed up to us, and then we got a second cat, which was a bitch, and they've never gotten along.
Really?
My parents' cats, at least, not mine. Yeah. I don't see them cuddling ever, and I'm kind of disappointed about it.
Winston and Olive are too. They don't really cuddle, but like they'll play here and there, but they're not really like the cuddle like type of cats. They're more like on their own, like separate from each other. It's fine, but they'll cuddle with us. So they won't cuddle with each other. They only like us.
Same thing with the cats. Yeah, they're like, my brother's all right, but you guys are more cool.
Exactly.
So how's Jordan doing? Your sister?
She's good. I think she's home right now with my mom. She's back from San Diego.
Nice. And she going back in January?
Yeah, she's going back in January. She has like another year and a half worth of school, but yeah, she's been killing it. She's been. Like,
what is she going to school for?
She wants to do HR, so like human resource management.
Like Michelle?
Kind of what my Aunt Michelle does, so that she can work in business and whatnot.
She's hardcore, man.
Yes, which I think Jordan will be good at. She's always been super bossy.
I see it now, you know? Like, I see her getting, like, more, I don't know how to explain it, just, like, more confident, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, she's just mature. You could see, like, her maturing, which...
For sure.
That never really happened with us, because we were so close in age. Like, we were kind of all maturing at our own...
Right.
Yeah. But now that we see her doing it, it's like, okay, I could see that. It's cute, definitely.
You know, one thing that I should thank you for that I've never thanked you for, that I've always, like held close? In grade school, I feel like because I was, I was like a loner and stuff like that. I feel like I wasn't bullied nearly as much as I would have been had I not had my cousin in the same grade who everybody liked.
Aww.
And so I just want to say, like, genuinely, and like this is, it's a long time later, but still, I just want to say thank you for that, even if you didn't do much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help you, even if it was just something small. I mean,
right.
I'm lucky that people liked me.
Yeah, I know. You were always cool. You were like the ballerina. I don't know how much cooler you can get, because you were actually really good at it too.
Yes, that was my life for 20 years.
That was so cool. That was really cool to know that you were like going to shows and doing that like every week, or not shows every week, but like
That was like all I did, like high school, like literally that was my life. Like ballet, that was it.
I think half the conversations about you were something to do with ballet.
Ballet, yeah. Yeah, when's your next show? Oh, going to ballet. Oh,
Sherwood Hall in Salinas.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Every freaking recital.
Sherwood Hall is a nice hall, though.
It was. It's actually a really big stage, which is really super nice. But it was definitely when I stopped doing ballet, it was definitely a kind of culture shock, or like a time where I was like trying to find myself, because ballet was my identity for so long. So like trying to find like different avenues or like different hobbies or what I like to do or what I like to talk about. It was definitely a point in my life where I was like felt lost, or like I didn't really know who I was. So I'm thankful for it, but I'm also glad that I was able to grow from it and like learn other parts of myself.
If you don't mind me asking, why did you stop? Just time?
I think just the time in my life. I wanted to move out of Salinas. Always knew I didn't want to live in Salinas.
Nobody does.
One that wanted to stay home for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I knew I wanted to move like away from my family so that they couldn't come visit me every weekend, but I could still come home. So that's why I chose Sacramento, just because it was close enough, but also far enough away. And then when I moved to Sacramento, I was going to school, and then I was trying to figure out working, so I had to pay bills, and I had to pay my rent. And
sucks.
I had to grow up, basically. I couldn't live in my parents' house no longer and not pay bills, so I was like, well, I gotta choose, and I ended up just working and figuring that out, and I just didn't have enough time to do dance anymore, which sucks, but, you gotta grow up at some point.
You can always do it at home, too. It's nice exercise.
Yeah, I do.
Do you find yourself dancing around the house ever?
Little TikTok dances.
Do you have a TikTok?
I do.
Do you like it, though?
Oh, no, I'm obsessed.
You and Sammy, I think.
What?
My wife was into it for a while, and I think she's slowing down, but every once in a while she'll go on a binge fest.
I was like super obsessed during quarantine, because we had nothing else to do. I would literally sit at home
TikTok
and
dances.
TikTok all day. And now that I've started school and whatnot, I've gotten a little bit less, but I'm on break right now, so I've been going TikTok crazy.
Yeah, I'm going back to MPC this fall.
Oh, are you? Yay,
yeah.
That's
or this spring, excuse me.
Yeah, I understand.
I think it's time to actually take that seriously. Before I didn't know what I was doing, and oh man, going to George Fox on a 4-year degree for engineering was wild.
Yeah,
like it's sudden, it's like the pressure of that is so much, and I feel like I was so unprepared to like handle the pressures of just regular life.
Exactly.
Which is sad. I really wish that I had like been able to talk to my current self, so that way I could have explained to myself like it's not that you don't, you could go to the school if you wanted, but like just wait a little bit, make sure that you want to do engineering, because you're 18 and there's no way that you're gonna know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like so thankful that I did end up going to NPC when I first started, because I was gung ho on going to like a 4-year college. Like I was about it, and then last minute I changed my mind. It was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to NPC, and I'm so thankful I made that decision, because I would have been in your exact shoes. I would have come home. I was like, I don't think I could have done it if I wasn't home, just because high school doesn't prepare you for college whatsoever.
Yeah, I went to a private school, and it still didn't prepare me personally. Oh yeah, you went to the one in
I went to Notre Dame.
Watsonville, Notre Dame, right? And I went to Monte Vista.
Yeah, and so both of us went to private school that are like preparatory high school.
And not to say that those schools were bad; they were great.
No.
Yeah.
They were great in like the college sense, for sure. Yeah. Like they taught me how to study, they taught me how to get through my college courses, but they weren't great for like life skills. Yeah. I think that's high school in general.
Yeah. When I have kids, whenever that is down the way, I definitely am gonna really stress the idea that I would honestly be okay with them taking a year off entirely of school. If that's what they like, if they have an idea but they want to like think things over, then that's like the way to go. Take a year, or even just go straight into community college. That's fine too. But like, I'm not gonna push. I'm not gonna push private school. I'm not gonna push college like right out of it.
Yeah, honestly, like we all figure it out at some point.
Right.
With our own paths and whatnot, whatever they want to do, I'm gonna support them.
Yeah, of course.
Their endeavors, but Yeah, I feel that. I like that.
I think there's always like the wave of you're in nursing program, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
And how do you liking that?
I'm obsessed with it, honestly. I
Nice.
love it. I'm
Nice.
super happy. I have one more semester of my like actual associate's nursing program,
Nice.
and then one more year of my bachelor's of nursing program.
Oh man, and everything's going well?
Yeah, I'm doing really well actually. I'm almost done. I'm honestly I'm so over school 'cause I've been in school for literally 20 years of my life now, and I'm like just over it. Like
I get it.
I've never taken a break because I literally went from high school to college, and once I graduated from Sac State, I went straight into nursing school, and so now I'm just like, okay, I need a little I need a little breath of fresh air. I'm like done with school.
Did going to Sac State help at all in getting into the nursing program, or was it
Yeah,
just more of a cultural thing?
it did help because it gave me like so in nursing school you have to get a certain amount of points in order to like qualify for nursing school. So you get a certain amount of points for your grades, you get a certain amount of points if you were a CNA, which is like a nursing assistant before, and it all accrues. So I got points for having my bachelor's, but I think in all honesty, my bachelor's helped me just mature a little bit more because I learned how to study, I learned how to get through the like schooling system, I learned just how to like live life and like manage manage other things
Be independent.
Outside of school, yeah, be independent, which helped. And by the time I was like ready to apply for my nursing program, like I got all my prereqs done, I was like one semester out from graduating, so I was like, honestly, fuck it, like I'm just gonna finish it. I'm already like 3/4 of the way there, like let's just get it done. So it was more just like a timing thing, like the reason that I did actually finish my bachelor's. But yeah, it definitely helped. I'm thankful for the way it all worked out.
And that was Sac State, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing my bachelor's of nursing through Sac State too.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm getting two bachelors.
Has have classes changed since COVID?
Yes. So last spring, when COVID first hit in March, we were like fully online for lecture, and luckily my school.
Wow.
My school has been really like
Take it seriously
for the nursing program. So they've allowed us to like come onto campus and do like skills, because nursing is a very like hands-on career. Like it's not something that you can really do online. Like, you need to be able to practice. Like what happens when I have to insert a catheter and like, I've never done it.
I've never, but I've seen pictures, so it's okay.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and I practiced on a teddy bear. But yeah, sure, sir. Let me just insert this foreign body into you. Like, absolutely not. So luckily, my school has been really good about like allowing us to come in and practice, and they've been advocating to the hospitals. So we were allowed to actually be in the hospitals this last semester.
Nice.
Which is super nice because we got that experience, because online simulation is nowhere even near what like in person is like. So
maybe in a decade, but like it's not close enough.
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe in a decade.
Dude, I can see VR, like actual like at-home labs.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure that'll be happening sooner or later. And we have stuff kind of like that where it's like
VR.
VR,
that's sick.
I wish that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I like the idea of going into nursing. It's probably one of the most satisfying careers, just from the outside looking in. You know, it's like your job is literally to like help people.
Exactly. That's kind of why I chose it, just because I know that I'm never gonna just be sitting behind a desk all day. I know that I'll like actually be making a difference in people's lives, and I'm not just in theory like making a difference, like actually physically there helping people. And you get that like one-on-one experience, which I've always liked. Like even in my serving job, like that was the best part about serving. It was like I got to like make people happy and help them and suggest things, and like that was always what was so like enticing to me about serving. So like I get that too in nursing. It's at like a higher level.
Yeah, that like salesman perspective.
Yeah,
it's like fun to interact with people.
That's That's all I've ever wanted. I don't want to sit behind a desk job and just
yeah
type away all day.
yeah, man, I don't want to either. I feel like that's like the fear. Everybody knows that like eventually you can probably find an office job and like kind of sit in a cubicle for a couple of years or forever if you wanted to, but it's like boring, you know.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like glad I went in nursing, because at the end of the day they're always gonna need nurses.
yeah
Never have to do that kind of monotonous job.
Can I ask you like a question about like your belief system?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm an open book. Go for it.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in a higher power. I don't know if I know this. I mean, I went to Catholic high school, so they teach you all about the Bible. They teach you about the Virgin Mary. They teach you about Jesus and all of that good stuff. I don't know if I necessarily believe in all of that, but I mean, I can't be on this earth and pretend that I don't believe in something that's greater than all of us. But yeah, I don't know if I believe in per se like a specific God.
Would you say it's not something that concerns you like all that much right now, or would you say that it's something you do think about on occasion?
I think the way I was raised, my immediate family like wasn't really religious, so it was never like something that I really thought about fully, just because it was never like a topic of discussion. But like, I mean, I always like enjoy the like thought of like God or whatnot, but it's never something that I'm just like hung up on like at night thinking about like, oh, is there a God or whatnot. I think at the end of the day, like, everything happens for a reason. Like, I'm here on this earth for a reason, and I can't waste my time stressing or worrying about things that like at the end of the day I don't control. So I'm just gonna roll with it.
Kind of like you can't worry about the world being like a simulation, because you just can't prove it, so there's just nothing you can do about
that conspiracy. I'm obsessed. I love it. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I just worry about my day to day. I can't stress about or like freak myself out over things that are like bigger than me. You know?
Yeah, no.
I have my day to day worries. I can't stress myself out over something more than that.
That's good. That's probably the most solid way to go. Do you think you would have benefited as a kid from like a more spiritual connection with your parents?
I don't know if I would say benefited. I think obviously our relationship would be different for sure, but my mom was always not spiritual, but she always believed in a higher power, but like we didn't go to church, we didn't do any of that.
She was in the same boat as you are, just not worried about it.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of always just adopted what my parents believed in as well. So, but I mean, I think my mom and I are really like close. So I don't know if it would like really benefit.
If it was something you were thinking about, you could talk with her about it.
Yeah, 100%. My mom was like always very open. Even my dad too. Like,
that's
he
good.
was very like open. I could talk to him about anything. So it was never like distance between us, like in that regards.
I texted him the other day, just because I was thinking about him, and I was like, I wonder how Uncle James is doing. And he told me about his motorcycle club that he was in, and then I heard recently that he got into an accident.
Oh my
right?
God. Literally, that man is gonna be the death of himself. I'm like, sir, you are 45 years old and you're still riding motorcycles. Like,
he's young.
No, because he can't work now because he broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we gotta grow up at some point. Like,
he's trying to have fun while he can.
I gave away my dancing. Now you gotta give up the motorcycles. Like, go on little trail rides here and there.
I hope he's learned. You know.
No, he'll never learn.
Well, it's the club is fine, but like the whole riding motorcycles, like actually on them and racing, is a little bit much for me.
My dad, he's just the ultimate shake my head always.
He's fun though.
But he's fun. He'll always be the fun dad for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's been more of the life of the party. I think Uncle Brandon tries to be.
Yeah, Uncle Brandon is too sometimes. But,
my dad's not. I love him to death. I don't. He's not like his brothers though. You know what I mean?
No, he's definitely which is why probably Grandma and Papa's favorite.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that there's a special place in Papa's heart for James.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
But, yeah, your dad honestly recently has been letting loose. Because, like, before when we were younger, he was definitely, like, a hard ass. Like, he was the uncle that was, like, very strict.
Yeah.
But now, like, now that I've gotten older and, like, I'm able to, like, hang out and drink wine and, like, talk with him, like, he's much more, like, chill with, like, us. I don't know about for you, but...
Yeah. I don't think I ever got the opportunity to develop a relationship with my father. So,
really?
Yeah, I don't really remember ever hanging out with him or doing anything. So, like, it kind of sucks. It's not that it never happened. It's just that it didn't happen often enough for me to remember it, like, really well.
Yeah. Do you think that's just because, like, he was busy or, like, he just things you wanted to do?
I think it was definitely both. But I think it was, definitely that he worked a lot, and he still does. But, like... Yeah. I think the problem was, though, that when he did have opportunities to actually hang out, he usually would do kind of what the average dad does, and that's kind of just chilling in the living room watching TV. And their idea of, like, hanging out with us was us in the living room while they're watching TV. And so, like, at a certain point, I was just like, they asked me why I didn't want to, hang out with them in the living room. And I was like, well, it's because it's boring, and all you do is watch TV, and then nothing ever kind of, like, came of it. So
yeah, they never really, like, asked you guys what you wanted to do. Or...
Yeah, it would have been nice just to like have an outlet for hanging out with him.
Yeah, that's understandable. I'm sorry to that.
No, it's all right. I'm just trying to be honest,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like that was, like, with my parents too. Like, we were so busy. Like, we would barely have any time. We would get home, shower, do homework, eat, go to sleep. Like, we would never really have time, but I'm super thankful that my mom always, like, made time for us to, like, we would play games at night, or we would just watch a TV show that we all liked, or go shopping, or, like, do, like, the things that we like to do, so.
I think that my dad took a very safe route, and that's no fault on him, It's like, if you want to work a lot, go home, watch TV, and then go to bed. That's kind of your prerogative. You're the one, like, working and making more money than mom, I guess. So good for you. Do your thing. But I do wish that I had gotten more out of it. And I always went to church, and it was interesting. But and I was Christian for a long time, and I kind of look back on it, and I'm just like, I don't know what I was doing, but now I know. Now I feel differently.
How do you feel about that now? Like, are you not Christian anymore?
No, I'm not. I would say atheist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I kind of had to eventually,
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, I don't want to, like, you said you were more comfortable in your place, like, where you're at spiritually.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't have to, like, talk with you about it if you didn't want to, but because, I think about that kind of stuff a lot, and mostly because it, they told me it was the most important thing growing up. And then,
Definitely.
and then now that I don't believe it anymore, it's kind of like a little bit of a hole in that part of my
relationship.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're, like, I don't want to say they, like, forced it down your throats your entire life, but, like,
it's in, like, more gently, but yes.
Yeah. I was like, basically they made that like it had to be a part of your life. So I feel like they never really gave, like, with my mom, she gave us the option. She was like, if you guys want to, like, explore, if you want to go to church, you're more than welcome. If you want to, like, research or figure it out, like, go for it. But I feel like with you, that was never really an option. Like, you guys had to go to church every Sunday and go to every church group and had to, like, do every camp every summer. So
my dad's the praise team leader.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like if that's, like, kind of forced upon you, it makes you, like, rethink everything. Like, wait, is this really what I want? Like, especially when you get to a point, like, you're old enough to actually think for yourself. So.
And it wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for the gay stuff. You know what I mean? There's just, like, that little, like, you believe that they're going to hell based on that alone, and it's like, that breaks my heart because there's so much good in the Christian faith, but, like, there's just that.
That's how I feel as well. I'm like, there's just so many things I don't agree with, and that I can't say that I agree with it, because it's why I believe in a higher power, but not with a certain religion.
I guess technically I'm open to the idea, but at this point I kind of have written it off, which is kind of disappointing.
With religion too, like it's fluid. You can learn and you can make your own decisions and believe in what you want to believe in. But at the end of the day, it's your life. Like, you have your own thoughts and your own.
Can I talk to you about like some basic political beliefs?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I guess the biggest thing right now is reforming the police. I guess would probably be the biggest one. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about reforming the police?
I think
generally, because I don't know anything.
Sure. I'm not super educated on everything politics, but I think when like the whole Black Lives Matter movement like bursted in June, you know, and there was all the riots and everything going on, I was like very gung-ho, like defund the police, like we don't need the police, like just take away their funding, like let's not do it. But now after like thinking about it and like listening to different opinions, I think that it's not necessarily like defunding the police. I think it's allocating for funding in different areas of like police training.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes sense. Like, I think at the end of the day, we need police. We can't live like in anarchy without police. Like, the whole reason we have police is to protect us.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think that they need more social training. They need more, like, I don't remember what the exact number is, but the amount of training that police have to become a police officer is so minute that it's like scary.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like you need to have like 2 years of training at least for me to be comfortable in you doing what you do.
Exactly. Like, you need like so much training in to be a nurse, and then if we make one fucking mistake and end up like killing a patient, then we get our license taken away. But if a policeman makes a mistake and ends up or kills somebody, they're just scot-free. They get away and they're fine.
Right.
So it's like we just need more training, and the fact that like they need to understand their biases, and they need more funding for like mental health.
Yes, definitely.
Facilities or like teams and whatnot, because the biggest issue, it's a mental health crisis in our fucking country.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like I don't know how to explain it, but like we just need more funding for things like mental health, because police aren't trained for that kind of like crisis. Like, we don't need 3, 4, 5 police officers armed with guns for someone going through a mental breakdown.
Right. I saw 2 cop cars and 5 policemen, I think, when like this group of mentally ill a little bit people set up shop next to the Food Max where I was working, and it was like, wow. That's a lot of guns for basically most likely a non-violent offense.
Yeah, and people that are clearly struggling and suffering, and it's like they don't need to be so like. I mean, I get it. They fear for their lives because they have instances where they do need to fear for their lives, but it's like not every offense needs to be so like violent and dramatic.
I think we should have like a group force on the police force that's like directly dedicated to happily and non-violently approaching situations like that, especially when it comes down to mental illness. I think that we could have within the police force a like totally non-weaponed or like nice group of people that leave as soon as there's any danger, you know, and are like, and if everybody knows that they don't have anything on them, then even it might be a little bit dangerous for them, but I feel like the good that'll come of it, the trust in the police force again, will be way better than what it is now.
Like, they just need training on like escalate or de-escalating issues.
Oh my God, yes.
Like,
George Floyd was like so bad. I can't even like describe to you with words.
It was horrible. Like, that whole thing, it was just sickening.
Yes.
So like,
it was like, how can you stand here and defend the police force and saying that like these problems are so small that they never happen, and then here's a video where exactly it's happening. It's happening exactly how it's been described.
Yeah.
And a man died because of it, or who knows, but still, most likely because of this.
Mhm. So always been hard for me because I do have like really close family friends that are really high up in the police force.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, well, you know the Johnsons, right?
Not really.
Oh, okay. So they're like my family friends, and they're super high up in the police force. So it's always been hard for me to like, because I know at the end of the day, like, they're good people.
Right.
They don't mean.
They're trying their
harm.
best too.
Like, they got into that because they wanted to protect. They wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be good.
And that's the only way I'd want it too. I want them to want to be here.
Yeah, and so it's like so hard for me to like wrap my head around the fact that like people in that position could not have the same like heart and values.
I know.
But
Those
I
four
think it's
policemen
also-
with George Floyd was kind of like, wow, not one of these four people had the moral sense to not do this.
Yeah, it was definitely disheartening and
Yeah.
very like eye-opening to like definitely just like the racial biases people can have, but also like
I think it's ridiculous to deny them.
exactly, and like to deny like the way that our entire government was set up on that.
Right. Yeah.
So like you have to
It's
realize
really unfortunate because I think of United States as still kind of like top of the line, and it makes me really sad when I remember the idea that it was founded on slave labor, you know.
exactly.
And like I'm not super far like I'm not on the left really. I would say I'm like center.
Middle, yeah.
On a pH scale, I'd be an 8. Towards conservative, but like it feels like both sides are idiots always.
Oh, 100%. I think that there's the far right are horrible and the far left
Yeah.
are
Stupid.
insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we need to find somewhere like that's like in the middle, but I feel like these days like it's so like depolarizing. Like we're so just like you can't be one or the other without being 100% right or left. Like
Right.
the way that people talk and the way that the media talks and the way the government speaks, it's like
Yeah.
you have to choose either left or right. And if you're left, then you're a complete socialist. If you're right, then you're
Yeah.
a slave.
The decision.
owning
You're.
it, you know?
Yeah, you're ultra conservative usually.
Yeah, there's just no like in between, which
Yeah.
it just sucks. Like I feel like
It's
we haven't
like-
really been like that for like except for the past couple of years.
I wish we had a party that like said that it's not going to define what its views are. It's just going to say we're exactly in the middle of these two parties. So if like
Exactly,
and like
just-
try to be that, I would vote for them.
yeah, for sure. And I wish like people like that, like the libertarians or the independents, could win an
Yeah.
election. And it just sucks that it like has to be so like black or white.
Right, exactly. And like if you look at the actual Senate and House, there's no independence in neither one. I think.
Nope.
I think the
That's
closest thing is undeclared.
Yeah.
But
Which
it's
is sad.
really it's so ridiculous too. Like you see the problem, everybody knows what the problem is, and like but you just can't do anything because it's like already in motion.
Yeah.
So like we
it's
just have to look at it, see that there's a problem, see kind of what the problem is, and yet us as people just kind of have to go, oh, you should fix that, government, fix yourself please, because
Yeah,
that's all we can do.
Well, I feel like all of us just don't know really where to start. It's like
Right.
it's how it's been for literally ever. So like where do we begin? Like where do we start making? It's not like we're just gonna change everything one day.
I
you
think
know?
where to start from here is definitely universal healthcare.
I agree.
Yeah, because I just don't know how you can say that the government, which fucks us over a lot, doesn't owe us at least medical stuff. Like, make sure that it's provided for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And good coverage, too.
And I'm in the healthcare field. And
Right.
like, that's like how I get paid, you know. But I
Right.
feel like you can't go into healthcare without realizing that like every person deserves to be cared for. It's not you're not allowed to pick and choose the wealthy ones over the ones that aren't to allow
Yeah.
them to be able to be cared for. Like
There are
that's
things that are specifically that you can't afford unless you have a lot of income.
exactly
Yeah,
like
that are life-changing.
exactly like the amount of people I've seen dying from rationing their insulin because they can't afford it because big pharma has
Right.
hiked up the prices so ridiculous.
Those stories are scary.
Actually disgusting. Yeah, and it's just horrible. Like, how can you live with yourself? Like,
Yeah.
it's just horrible.
It's like how can we like, and this is probably one of my biggest complaints about the conservatives. It's like, if you can look at me and tell me to my face that you believe that all lives are equal, how can you also see this happening and then do nothing about it? Mm-hmm. It's like, of course, it's owed to them. We owe it to anyone that we can. Like, those people aren't gonna, like, without a doctor, those people can't do those things, or doctor or nurse. They're not trained to do it.
I feel like the way that our government was like raised, they just kind of told us to like turn the blind eye. Yeah. So like I feel like people were just still kind of like, oh well, it's not happening in my life, so I don't know what's happening. Like shrug your shoulders, like oh well, like it's not happening to me. But it's like no, this is happening every single day. Like we need to speak up for those that are less fortunate.
Exactly.
Than us. Like,
exactly.
Be able to advocate and recognize that we are privileged and that we don't have that ability to just turn a blind eye and shrug your shoulders. Like,
I think what bugs me is that, especially, mostly because the conservatives are so religious. And it's like, oh, you actually believe down to your core, like if you are even mildly religious, that everyone's equal, and like, that's just you're just ignoring that.
Yeah, I think religion definitely plays a big part into like being a conservative. For sure.
I think that if they like accepted that, then they get on board eventually.
Yeah.
I think that it's one of those things that like it just has to be put through finally, and then and actually like taken seriously, and instead of the Democrats, or I'm sorry, instead of the Republicans fighting it the whole way, maybe you could work to ensure that everyone has health care, even if it's not the form that you want.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just going to take time. It's going to take good leadership, and but yeah, it's definitely going to be a fight until the end. But I think honestly the president that we've had for the last 4 years did nothing but divide us.
I think you're right.
Never really like helped mend that division. Like we need someone who's going to like see both sides and
take it seriously.
And be able to like make good decisions.
Trump's just gonna look at it like face value. No, I'm not gonna support this, and not actually ask himself, is this better for the people?
Exactly. He's just not understanding.
It's so like
anyone's view besides his own.
Exactly. So. It's very false with him. And I'm not a super Trump hater. I think he's an idiot, you know, and so I'm not gonna follow him. Just like I wouldn't follow anybody else. I do like Biden better, but I didn't vote.
Yeah, Obviously, I mean, I did vote. I voted for Biden, but he's not my like first choice.
He's like better than Trump.
He's a bad human being. He's had a bad past. He's not a good politician.
No,
but
not really.
Like, kind of like the lesser of two evils, which is sad. It's horrible for our country.
I feel like that's how everybody feels.
That's how it's been the last two elections. It's been like, okay, you have this shitty ass person, you have this shitty ass person. Like, which one's gonna be?
Yeah, we got a like Cheeto Puff and then and then a ghost.
Exactly. Like what are we doing here? It's just it's horrible. Our country is just in shambles.
On that lovely note, I feel like this was a really good conversation. And the reason I like having these, especially with my family, is because I feel like in America we don't talk enough, especially about politics, religion, all that kind of stuff. And it like would be helpful for everyone if we actually took the time to have more of these conversations.
I agree. Thank you for having me. I feel like we've grown our relationship 10 times more, and I'm so happy that we could like connect and just actually make out the time to like talk and get down to the good stuff. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too. And
on that note, cheers.
Cheers.